What a weekend down under. Let's talk about the Aussie GP. Before we jump into the Aussie weekend, what do you think about the updated F1 driver intro? Glad to see George bringing back the famous pose that went viral all over social media. The number of memes were countless. I do like that F1 song is the same, it's legendary and definitely gets you into the racing vibe. What do you guys and girls think about the intro for this 2025 season? Will there be any changes in the lineup like last year? Let us know in the comments below. I'm interested to hear your thoughts. The much anticipated 2025 F1 season has kicked off, new faces, announcements of a new team for 2026, and we start down under in Melbourne, Australia. Earlier this week, I made a post on IG asking you guys if you felt that Australia needed a dedicated track and not be a street circuit type of setup. The feedback was mixed to say the least. Some opted for a designated racetrack so we could see more racing events at the circuit, and others said no, leave it be and let the tradition continue. What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. Shall we talk about practice? The first session of the 2025 season kicked off, and man, did it start with a rough patch. Let's talk a bit about Ali, as one of the rookies this season. A few races under his belt, scoring points with Ferrari after replacing Sainz during his operation. However, we didn't see that spectacular drive this time around. Maybe he needs some more time before we lay out the verdict for Ali. Massive crash for him in FP1, bringing out the red flag extremely early in the session. Then he misses FP2 due to the amount of damage on the car and the team not being able to repair it in time. Then another incident in FP3, a spin into the gravel, then getting stuck. The good part is the car avoided the barrier this time around, but nonetheless brought out another red flag. Then, unfortunately, gearbox issues during quali. After half a lap, he was heading back to the pits. All in all, it wasn't the best start for 2025. There are others that had some close calls as well. We saw Lewis have a spin, a number of drivers returning to the pit to check the floor. I swear that was the #1 radio call for the practice sessions. Check floor. Turn 11 surely was interesting to see with the gravel trap positioning, causing a lot of stones to be thrown on track repeatedly, surely causing an issue for some drivers. We saw some drivers even complain about gravel being on the track. After practice comes quali, and what a quali it was. The McLarens reigned on top with Lando and Oscar P1 and P2, with Max not far behind in third. The McLarens are certainly quick, and we can see the teammates showing great consistency on track, which will help them in the strategy for this season. Red Bull certainly did wonders to the car overnight to help Max see great improvements in the car. Practice certainly saw Max complaining about the car being loose and being hard to control. Well, they certainly dialed it in for quali. What do you think was the changes on the Red Bull? Let us know below. I was a bit surprised by two things during this practice session. One was the poor quali from Antonelli. Yes, I know he had damage to the floor, but still I think he could have at least hit Q2. Liam was also a surprise. Meanwhile, UK is putting on a show. What a drive by UK, 5th in qualifying. The second surprise was to see how far down Lewis was on the quali's sheet, 8th just behind his new teammate Charles Leclerc. He seemed to be very quick in FP1 and 2, maybe just a bad run during Q3. Sure, I'm looking forward to see how Lewis adjusts to the car and what he can do this season. I'm still holding my prediction that he will not be an 8th time world champion this year, but maybe next year is on the table. Isaac Hadja certainly impressed me in the RB car, barely missing out of Q2. Look forward to what he can do this season. There's a lot of support it seems for Gabriel Bartoletto as well, especially after Marco Helmut's B-grade driver rating. I'm sure he's eager to prove Marco wrong and show the world what he can do. Which rookie are you most excited to see this season? And also, which rookie performs the best? Let us know in the comments below. Carlos and Alex in the Williams seem to be quick as well, especially during FP1, and they qualified a bit down the order if you ask me, but miles ahead of where they have been in recent times. I ask the question again, can Carlos Sainz win a race this season in the Williams? What are your thoughts? Comment below. Now, let's talk about this crazy race in Australia. Wet track, Inter tires were the tires of choice, except Stroll, who was on the wets. Then he switched over to intermediates after Isaac Hadja spinning on the formation lap and damaging his rear wing. Tough to see for the rookie. For the restart though, as I mentioned, Aston Martin had a rethink on the tire choice for Stroll, so they went to the intermediates. A good choice, I think, given the track was not fully soaked, coupled with the wind helping to push the water off the track. Great start for Lando and Max, Oscar dropping a place. Max clearly loves these types of conditions. We all remember Brazil last year with Max moving from 17th to 1st in the rain. Another rookie crash came about, and this time, unfortunately, it was Jack Doohan. The back end just stepped out on him and probably too much throttle input. Maybe it was the mapping, I'm not sure. Certainly he will learn from that experience though. Then here comes Carlos Sainz in the Williams, unfortunately crashing under the safety car. Not the greatest start for him with his new team, especially since this was the first time in 20 years that both Williams cars started in the top 10. Expected better from Carlos given his experience, but stuff happens, right? How do you think that happened? What caused his crash? Carlos or the car? Not sure I'm completely sold on the change by Liam Lawson and Ollie Beerman changing to a new set of Inters. A warm set, okay fine, but the safety car will be doing much more laps at that point. Seems very early for that tire change. What do you guys think? Was it the right call? I'm not sure. Comment below your thoughts. Lap 17 almost had us with another safety car with a spin from Kimi Antonelli. Massive save by the rookie, and he was able to continue and get it back on track. Impressive indeed. I am definitely looking forward to what he can do in that Mercedes. Rare mistake from Max to allow Piastri to overtake. Was Max going for that massive puddle to cool his tires? I doubt it. He had a slight lockup that caused him to go off, and even complaining about the tires being completely dead. The track was drying very quickly, so the Inters were definitely falling off. Not just for Max. Have to say, Leclerc and his race engineer are hilarious. They have that constant banter, and even Charles saying, let's add that to the words of wisdom. That, for me, was definitely showing that they have that relationship going. He almost sounded nervous, wondering what fluid that was on his seat. I would be concerned too. Was it coolant, or worse, was it fuel? Team orders from McLaren to keep Piastri behind Norris was some BS, if you ask me. Zach Brown came on the radio saying they would be able to race, and then now Oscar is to hold position. What's up with that? Oscar clearly upset, and I can't blame him. Oscar was clearly the faster car. What makes it worse is the fact that it's Oscar's home race, and any driver dreams of winning their home race. Let them race, Zach. Again, here comes Zach Brown saying, let's go racing, and Oscar was dropped back out of the air simply because he was told to hold position, and then it didn't help when he dipped a tire in the grass, of course, but tough situation for Oscar to be in. I know he wants to win, just like everybody else on the track. Alonso, the veteran, having a tough issue spinning and hitting the wall. Safety car had everyone in the pits to change tires, of course, taking advantage of the time you save under the safety car. McLaren choosing to go on the hard tires. Interesting choice, I think, given the amount of laps that were left in the race at that point. Just over 20 laps to go. The mediums was the choice for Max, which I think was the right call. And then poor Oscar. Tough one. A true heartbreak for him in his home race, spinning off and being almost stuck in the grass. This race was a mind game and a proper nightmare, I think, for the strategy teams. Watching the radar, running scenarios, and taking a gamble. What a race. A total of 6 cars out of the race. Lawson, Bortoleto, Alonso, Sainz, Doohan, and Hajar. China should be great. On to the next one. What a start to the season. That's all the time we have for this episode. Be sure to check out our other episodes of Let's Talk F1. Share your comments below, join the discussion, and consider subscribing to the channel. That helps us out a lot. Also check out our merch at ModzCity.com. We feature some F1 inspired merch as well. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, this is Let's Talk F1.